Okay. Hello, good morning, Laura. Welcome to the chat session for Eurasia Research. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So, Laura, now we'll introduce you to the audience. Okay. Uh, we would like to welcome you and the affiliation that about everything, the university and everything will introduce everything about you. Then we'll be starting. Okay. So welcome to
Okay.
the chat session. And she is Laura Kati Corley, and affiliation trauma informed emergency management and psychology University of Maine at USA. So Laura, we'll like to start with the first question. So you have presented the topic radical empowerment practicing the principles in a community psychology course. So just please explain in a nutshell about your research and about how you did and whatever. So, just we would like to know about this the topic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my research stems within my education practice. So I conducted some academic action research with one of my undergraduate psychology courses. And basically, this course covers the field of community psychology, which is really focused on community collaboration and empowerment and working together with people so that people can achieve their own best outcomes. And when I teach the course, I usually follow the regular kind of like standard higher education practice where I create the syllabus, I create assignments and lectures and tests and whatever else. But it always feels a little bit weird for me to be making all of the decisions for the students about their education when that kind of goes against what the field of community psychology is about. So I decided to try this approach of radical empowerment. And so I did an action research process where I kind of like wrote up an idea of what I wanted to accomplish with the students kind of directing their own educational journey. And I had the students co-create the syllabus with me in the first 2 weeks of the class. So they decided what their weekly assignments were going to be, what our class process was going to be in class, any other assignments or projects that they would do, how the grading would work. And the students were very alarmed because they had never been asked to work on a process like this before. I gave them examples of everything I had ever done in this class previously. So they had examples of assignments and weekly structures and term projects and things. And they took it very seriously. They were 100% in on like, we pay for our education. We want to learn as much as we can. They assigned themselves homework from the very first session, even before we had made all the decisions about the class. And the first class was very successful. This was in spring 2024. And from that, with action research, I evaluated, tweaked a few things. I ran the class again this spring in 2025, where I made a decision about a textbook that they would purchase because I kind of started embracing my own responsibility as the expert in the field to bring my knowledge and, what I knew would best support their learning. And the students made very different decisions from last year about how the grading would work, how their weekly assignments. A lot of the students chose to have a final exam, where previously the students had not wanted to have any tests. And I closed this spring with the students actually conducting an evaluation process with me to create recommendations for next time when I teach the class, so that they were actually kind of co-creators of the next iteration of the class. So it was nerve-wracking. It required a lot of trust. I had to trust that the students would, really embrace the journey, and they absolutely did. And they had to trust me that I would actually empower them and not change my mind and change the rules and whatever else, because I'm the instructor and I technically have the power to do all of that. So it took a lot of trust on both sides.
So that's a really inspiring story, and thank you for sharing the details with us. So we'll be moving forward with the next question. So, what are the challenges you have faced in a research journey? So, we would like to know about your research journey as well.
Yeah, my overall research journey covers a variety of topics that typically fall into social and environmental justice. So I do a lot of research in the psychology of disasters and climate change.
Yeah.
I do research into environmental racism and discrimination against the poor, food insecurity and general community empowerment, which is how this overlaps with the action research that I did with this class. I would say that overall, some of the challenges that I faced is number one, a lot of people don't consider climate change and disasters to be social issues. They think of them only in terms of like the physical environment. And so there's always a lot of explanation that no, humans make decisions about, how our societies are set up. We contribute to climate change. We make plans to adapt to it. We set policies about preparedness for our disasters and recovery. And some people are supported better than other people. And right now, I would say in the United States, we've had a lot of back and forth about how acceptable it is to study and talk about climate change.
Yeah.
Some places in the country just don't want to acknowledge that it exists. And certainly under our current administration, we are feeling that everywhere. So it's harder to get funding sometimes to support the research. And I have experienced very little interpersonal pushback, but I have received some from colleagues or community members who really don't believe in climate change and don't understand the processes. With this particular piece of research, I think the pushback or the struggles that I faced were more with would this work or would basically the semester just fall apart and the students not learn anything or just bail on the class and make a decision. We all have A's and goodbye. And so that was kind of a concern, and a lot of my colleagues expected that would happen. Of course, nothing of the sort happened, so that was really promising and heartening.
So, thank you so much for sharing the challenges that you've faced, and it will help the audience as well to know how much difficulties like researchers go through. So, let's move on to the next question. And what was your motivation during the research? Like, what motivated you to be working on this topic and everything?
Yeah, I would say the values of my field. We have very pro-social values. We believe, some of the common sayings that we have in community psychology. One is that the community is the expert of the community. People know what they need, what they prioritize, what will work, what won't work. And when researchers come in with this idea of, no, I'm the expert, let me tell you what you need, that never works. It's really patronizing and kind of a colonizer mindset. And if you want there to be actual success in a community, you have to trust people to know what they need, what they want, and look for ways that we can support that journey rather than trying to direct that journey. Another phrase that we often say is that, if you want to help the poor, you have to trust the poor.
Yes.
And again, that's the same idea, is that you can't come in and make decisions for other people and expect that those decisions will work when you are not walking in their shoes. Uh, and so my idea with the research was, if you want to, support student learning, you have to trust that students know best how they learn and how they are going to engage with the material best, and help them to like support them in the way of I am an expert in teaching. I've taught a lot of classes. They have never taught a class before. So giving them the support of this is how you create a syllabus, these are the types of assignments, but really letting them make all of those decisions and have the flexibility or the structures that they need to learn best. And so it really did come down to like a very strong community empowerment and trust that students know how they learn and they want to learn. They're motivated. And what kept me motivated throughout the semesters is definitely how motivated they are, because they definitely like leaned into their own learning and worked harder in my class than they had. I mean, they told me they worked harder in my class than they had in any other class because they really wanted to do well. They wanted this to work.
So I really hope this motivates a lot of people and the students as well. So let's move on to the next question. And what advice would you give to young researchers who are just starting in the research world based on your own experiences and insights? We would like to know the experiences and insights that you want to share to the world to know the everything.
Yeah, I would say kind of the old adage, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. I have really found a lot of success throughout my career in collaborating with other researchers in my own field, but also in other fields. I've worked in a lot of teams doing research on like local impacts of climate change and creating models for climate change decision making. When I was working in the Pacific Islands, we always worked in a large team. Here in Maine, I've worked with large teams as well. And people from other fields who have different priorities and different goals in their research, but they all overlap and they support each other and they build on each other. And getting multiple perspectives is always going to make the research stronger. I was really fortunate these past 5 years to work on a team where I got to mentor a team of undergraduate students. And I was very honest with them from the beginning, like, I'm hiring you because I want to know your thoughts. And, no matter how new you are to this process, I want your opinion, I want your perspectives, because everyone comes in with their own background, knowledge, and perspectives. And it has just been really incredible to have a bunch of different brains and mindsets and perspectives come together to hash out questions that we have for research and to really put our strengths forward. So I would say if you need to get something done quickly, just do it by yourself. You will get through very quickly. But if you have like a really big project, especially one that just seems too big for one person, it's too big for one person. And find a team, create a team of folks who have overlapping perspectives and motivations and work together and trust the team and learn about each other's research and support each other as you can.
Yeah, so it will be an inspiring story for everyone. Thank you so much. And the next question and the last question, your positive feedback about our conference. Like you attended our conference, so how was the experience and everything? We would like to know that.
Yeah, it was a really lovely time. So I went to the London EduCon in April 2025,
Yeah.
and we had researchers from all over the world. We had a couple who were from the United States, folks from across Europe, from across Asia and Southeast Asia, the Indian Peninsula, from Africa. And the research that was covered was such an interesting wide variety of topics. So they all overlapped with our educational missions, but we're in all different fields. And so in addition to different like pedagogy styles, I got to also get insight into other pieces of research and bodies of knowledge that I don't usually overlap with. And it was really lovely. And the folks who were there were just wonderful. We had a lot of really fun conversations.
So thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for your sharing your experience with us. Thank you for attending this chat session and we are honored to have you and it will be a great to see you at our future conferences as well. So thank you for your patience and time, Laura, and we would like to end this chat session and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor, and I really appreciate you all and the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.